I think that's where we think of things within people, and we don't think of things within ideology. And I think it's an ideology that's above it all.
Satan said, theology is politics.
You leave man to themselves, you let them have their freedom. They group together, they sin, they oppose God almost all the time.
We have an opportunity to create a nation in the very essence of Masonic morality.
With freedom and tolerance of all religions and moralities that no government can oppress.
I think the strongest case is whether this country was founded on Masonic principles is, I think, look at the founding document, the Constitution. That's what the Constitution is. It's a resetting of the moral order, freedom from the church to govern our lives.
It's total control over the people. Total control. And it's global. It's global.
This conference discussed how they were going to control the thinking of the world through the press, and how newspapers were going to be run by a single source which they were going to run.
People like Klaus Schwab have been handed down this ideology that they don't probably fully understand or represent in the same way as their predecessors did.
I would argue that WEF is a front organization. They're the front people, the front groups for the same ideology and the same entity, if you will.
No other way forward but to call for a Marshall-like plan for nature, people, and planet.
I believe that the signs are here that what we're undergoing now is a remote dress rehearsal for the rise and the rule of the Antichrist.
Armed.
In Noah's day, no one believed him. The rain began in the middle of the day when the sun was shining.
I wouldn't use the term angry. I am in a perpetual state of controlled rage. And why wouldn't I be?
I would tell the people watching this in 50 years, 2020 was the year the world changed.
Global crisis requires global response, and that justifies global governance.
The world is off its axis. There are no rules anymore. This is about survival. This is about taking care of our family and our friends. Everything is off now.
The goal, quite clearly, appears to be reordering a new society, a greatly reset society, that is ordered after the image of man, not the image of God. All of the evil societies in human history went evil precisely by building a city of man.
There has always been an impulse in humanity that we could call evil.
Cecil Rhodes' biographer wrote an article called Government by Journalism. And for them, journalism meant propaganda. It didn't mean truth.
They're told what to believe by the mainstream media, and they believe it. They hook, line, and sinker. People believe that all journalists are honorable.
I mean, at this point, we're living in a virtual asylum of people that seem willing to believe whatever they're told if it somehow provides them a false sense of security. And I would argue again, there is no security hiding in your cabin on the Titanic. The ship is going down.
What you're watching now is the truth of what happened, from people talking about it who don't have an agenda.
This whole crisis, the whole thing, the Great Reset, behind all of it is a spiritual battle. Our enemy is Satan. This is an apocalyptic battle between good and evil.
There's no better side to stand on than the side of truth, and the side of justice, and the side of honesty.
The stakes are higher than they've ever been. It's at like an existential crisis for the species.
I thought to myself, God is blessing me to be on the front lines of this,
and I get to go into battle against these people.
So when you talk about what they're trying to do to this world, it's something different. I've seen God move when we thought it was impossible.
In terms of conflict of interest and financial conflict of interest, Congress is financially beholden to the pharmaceutical industry. That is undeniable. So congressional oversight is compromised. The FDA as a regulatory body is compromised by regulatory capture by the pharmaceutical industry. A large fraction of their budget comes directly from the pharmaceutical industry. So I've been warned by an experienced wartime journalist that I need to recognize the threat to my personal security because I am creating risk for mega capital, and that mega capital will retaliate. The thing is that if a sniper decides to set up across the street and pick me off, no number of shotguns is going to stop that. It's going to happen. Should I allow that theoretical risk to cause me to self-censor? Because that's what we're really talking about. We're talking about the mechanisms of authority and their ability to cause individuals to self-censor. That's how this works, right? Is they're trying to pick me off because I've been sufficiently high profile. In a way, it's a badge of courage.
You know, I interviewed Catherine Austin Fitts for my podcast a few weeks ago, and what she said about this whole situation is death is not the worst thing that can happen.
I just want to be known as, to my children and their memories, a fighter, a foot soldier for Christ that was on the right side of the battle.
One of the most vitally important issues of our age, and that is United Nations Agenda 21, Sustainable Development. It is the inventory and control plan. Inventory and control of all land, all water, all minerals, all plants, all animals, all construction, all means of production, all food, all energy, all information, and all human beings in the world. And this is a plan that was agreed to by 179 nations back in 1992.
The important point is that, yes, the events of the Alta Vendita seem to have played out in the late 20th and early 21st century. When we're talking about the men who gave us a Francis Pontificate, we're talking about a group that deigned itself the St. Gallen Mafia. As a matter of fact, I have to be careful here what I say.
We are entering right into the realm of transhumanism. They always go too fast. They're always too complacent. They're always overconfident. And they're heading to a point where I don't think they can possibly succeed.
What a glorious thing it is to be responsible for saving the world.
Humans have got to fight back against the idea of human extinction. It's so obvious.
Number one, laugh while you can. Right? Because this side of the eschaton is fleeting. And number two, do your worst, and I'll do mine.
In these goals and targets, we are setting out a supremely ambitious and transformational vision. We envisage a world free of poverty, hunger, disease, and want, where all life can thrive. We envisage a world free of fear and violence, a world with universal literacy, a world with equitable and universal access to quality education at all levels, to healthcare and social protection, where physical, mental, and social well-being are assured. A world where we reaffirm our commitments regarding the human right to safe drinking water and sanitation, and where there is improved hygiene, and where food is sufficient, safe, affordable, and nutritious. A world where human habitats are safe, resilient, and sustainable, and where there is universal access to affordable, reliable, and sustainable energy. We reaffirm our unwavering commitment to achieving this agenda and utilizing it to the full to transform our world for the better by 2030.
The whole world changed in 1 year. You couldn't make this up. It's a science fiction movie come true. Words like social distancing. Social distancing. Oh yeah, the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, they said you had to be 6 feet apart. Oh, they just changed it. It's okay, 3 feet apart. Of course, when you cough and sneeze, it goes about 23 feet, 21 feet. They're making this up. They don't care. It's about control. And they've taken full control of, I'm going to estimate, about over 60% of the population. The rest are hesitant about it.
You look at this guy. I mean, just look at him. This guy is pure evil. And look at this. Now this is bizarre. It's a serpent eating a child, and these buckets hold gold, and they're on basically a scale. This is the family symbol
on his mother's side, by
of his
not
mother's
the Fauci side.
For this serpent right here.
Right.
He is a serpent. I mean, who in the world would have a family crest that has a crowned serpent, Lucifer with a crown, eating babies? Now you hear this all the time, that Moloch, you know, the in Bohemian Grove, it was the worship of the owl, or Moloch, the baby eater. But I liked what I heard Matt say earlier today, which was, there's no more secrets, there's no more Bilderberger, there's no more trilateralism, there's no more secret Council on Foreign Relations, there's no more Chatham House. It's all open. And it isn't one group of people. It's not just the Pilgrim Society, which are the original British imperialists, who still, their plan is as effective as this one that Matt showed us here on the Alta Vendita, which is basically the Carbonari. It's basically an Italian Masonic group that said, we want control of the world, and this is our 100-year plan.
So this all makes sense in the context of a source document known as the Alta Vendita, which is an intercepted letter. It was intercepted by the agents of Pope Pius IX, who was a based and red-pilled Catholic pope, a favorite of traditionalists. His Cardinal Secretary of State, we think, although the provenance is a little disrupted, intercepted this letter from Italian Carbonari, one of the various highest lodges of Freemasons in Italy and in all the world. This letter states really clearly in teleological language, the language of goal setting, what the Freemasons and the secret societies around the world had aimed to do. They call it a revolution in Tierra and Cope. Now, we think that the letter was intercepted sometime in the middle 1800s. What they said they wanted to do was infiltrate the Roman Catholic Church, right, the pinnacle of the one true faith, Christianity, and soft pedal ideas through counselors and maybe the College of Cardinals. Think of the Sankt Gallen Mafia. Ideas of Marxist Masonic leftism to the Pope, such that he would be a sort of second derivative soft peddler of Masonic ideas, perhaps without even knowing it. Really important in the document is the idea that this struggle might well take up to a century. The soldier dies, and yet the struggle carries on in the fight, that the document states.
But I mean, when I see how people who worship darkness, how they rise to power, it's extremely suspect. And also when you get into things like that, and when you get into researching evil people, you can feel it, man. You can feel that there's something else there, that this can't be normal.
Yeah, well, the central planners see themselves as the enlightened group, right? They're the enlightened few, therefore they should control everyone else. But artificial intelligence takes it to the next level. Artificial intelligence does a better job of controlling things than they could ever imagine, right? So artificial intelligence therefore becomes like their God, in the sense that if you know, throughout humanity we have deferred the decision-making process, if you will, to a higher entity or to a higher being. Well, what we should do in the future, their words not mine, is, and I'm most likely, you know, taking all the bits and pieces of what they're saying and trying to connect the dots, is we should just delegate everything to the new God, which is artificial intelligence.
The creationist idea that all life forms are designed by God, and sometimes people tell me, don't use the word intelligent design. But it is intelligent design. What we are about to see in the world, it's just not the intelligent design of the God of the Bible. It's the intelligent designs of human beings and increasingly of algorithms. This is why I referred to the intelligent design of clouds, of the cloud computing. That designing a life form is such a complicated thing to do, but in all likelihood, no human being will be able to do it. But our algorithms may be able to do it for us. And increasingly we'll see in more and more fields this shift in authority from humans to algorithms. So even if we keep as figureheads, the presidents and the CEOs will continue to be human beings because we don't like the idea of being ruled by algorithms. Actually, these presidents and CEOs, they will be choosing between options dictated by algorithms, often without really understanding how they came to these options and what do these options mean.
There has always been an impulse in humanity that we could call evil. The globalists that I've been able to get to know, they lack identification with other people and other organizations. These people are operating on a much higher level. It's much nearer to what would be psychopathy. They're sociopaths.